Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm one of your hosts, Ace Harris, here with my amazing co-host,
Meah Evans in the building, man. Listen, Ace, how you feeling?
I'm good. You know, today's a good day, sunny, springtime, you know what I'm saying?
It feels great, man.
It feels great.
The pollen's kind of been kicking everybody. I got a car wash. There was no point in me getting a car wash.
There's no point. You might as well just
Everyone's car out here looking like lemon pepper wings.
Yo, Atlanta is notorious for that, too. I feel like our weather is just like annoying. Like the pollen doesn't go anywhere, and then trying to wash it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a special, amazing guest, someone who you know very well.
Who I know very well, man. Listen, I've known her for a very, very long time, Ace.
How long would you say?
I'm 27, so probably I think 27 years of my life. She's a broadcaster, she's a media personality, and she's here on the 116 Life, man. Let's give it up for Meesa Jones, who is on the 116 Life.
This is not the 116 Life anymore. This is the 116 Life / M&M Live Radio.
Is this a crossover episode?
This is our crossover episode.
Like you know when Timmy Turner and Jimmy Neutron had that crossover episode? Is that what this is?
This is what it is.
I mean, I'm honestly sitting here between two goats, you know what I'm saying, in the media space. So I'm just gonna sit back, let y'all do what y'all do.
Says the 2-time Grammy Award winning
producer. I be telling him the same thing.
Here we go.
No, but when I tell y'all seriously, if I could just take a moment, I appreciate y'all so much. Ace, you have grown as an interviewer. You are killing it.
I be telling you.
Seriously. But even Meah, years ago, she would not even want to shake hands with anybody.
I can't believe that. Every time y'all say this or she says it, Meah, you're the most outgoing person I know.
That's a lie.
Seriously.
No,
so thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Meah out here going viral on clips and stuff. How's it feel?
Not how's it feel. It's not about me, Ace. So y'all, if I can even bring things full circle, talking about knowing Meesa 27 years of my life, Meesa is my blood sister. Yeah. So same mom, same dad. And we're so happy to have you on the 116 Life. Describe this season of life you're in right now. How's this season of life been treating you?
This season of life, I feel like it's like the pollen that y'all were talking about.
In
what way? I'm glad you asked. Okay. It's literally, I feel like pollen is so needed. Number one, in order to pollinate and grow more beautiful plants and stuff. I'm in such a season of growth. I have become a first-time homeowner. I have 2 beautiful girls with my husband, my best friend, Meesa Jones. I've been doing really well as far as staying on top of my goals. I work on staff at Stockbridge Community Church as a First Impressions coordinator. I celebrated 2 years of being there.
Congratulations.
Thank you
crazy.
So much.
That's
and
dope.
then on top of that, M&M Live Radio doing some great things. But I ain't gonna lie to you, the pollen got a bad side. Not necessarily a bad side, but a not so great and celebrated side, which honestly there's moments in which I just feel like, Lord, I'm kind of struggling.
I feel you.
I'm juggling.
How old are your kids?
So my oldest just turned 3. And then my youngest is about to be 1 year old in a couple weeks.
Let's all just gather in prayer for the Jones household right
Please,
now.
Go ahead and lead us in, Ace, please.
I definitely, I asked because I got a couple friends with young children, multiple young children. I had one friend who they're older now who had the kids' ages were 4, 3, 2, and 1 for one season.
What a countdown.
Yeah, for real. And it's when I see parents and couples who are having young children, and not just 1, but 2 to 3, under 3, I just can see that when you say that, I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, it's like
I've been there.
It's like juggling.
It's you all over the place.
Yeah.
So how have you been finding time to still maintain, Meesa Jones and what God's called you? How's that been as a new homeowner, I guess a new mother essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Ace. Honestly, there's moments in which I'm still trying to figure that part out.
Yeah.
But I've learned that if I don't put things on the calendar, like my really big rocks and big things that I want to have happen in my day, it's not gonna get done.
Okay.
It's not gonna get done. During the work day, of course I'm very struggled. I'm very scheduled. I'm very structured.
Yeah.
But then there's moments where I'm at home. I want to just relax. I don't even want to look at a calendar.
I feel you.
But then there's moments where I'm I still want to get things done at home.
Right.
I still want to be able to be intentional parents. We want to take the kids out to the park. We want to be able to have intentional date time with me and my husband. I want to be able to still do the things that God has called me to be and be a creative at home. So I really try to make sure that I schedule block out times.
Gotcha.
And I'm really being intentional about the time that I have carved out so that I can do the things that I want to do.
That's a dope nugget, I think, for creatives.
Oh, yeah.
my creatives who don't have necessarily like kids or in deep relationship can probably have a luxury of this, but yo, carving out time for things is a hack.
Yes.
Man,
even your downtime.
Like just putting that thing out. I'm not doing anything. Can you talk about how you feel like creatives can benefit from that? Because I feel like sometimes creativity and structure don't necessarily align, but in a busy schedule, it's almost like inevitable, or it's almost disadvantageous not to have that. Why is that important? Like, especially for the artists that like are tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like when it comes to creativity, there's moments where, and I personally, there's moments where I have like, writer's block, like for example.
Yeah.
And then if you just sit there in your moment of not knowing what to do, not knowing how to create, you're not going to find that inspiration that you need. So even if it's like going for a walk on the Atlanta Beltline, so like you can have some moments of inspiration, or carving out time to hang out with your mentor, or carving out time just to simply be quiet. There's so much inspiration and there's so much that could come out of simply being still, simply having your rest, simply having a moment in which you can be filled back into. You've got to at least just have those moments in which you're able to like, okay, have moments to yourself, be still, pour back into yourself so that you can rise to the occasion or like go back into whatever you were being creative with.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I'm definitely chewing on that. So talk to us about M&M Live Radio. I mean, Meah, you pretty much, gave us the backstory. I want to hear from your side.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I just got one half of the story.
Yeah. She lying.
Nah, but it's amazing to see. I don't know how many years apart are you guys?
We're 2 years apart.
That's amazing. Sweet spot. My kids are 2 years apart too. And I grew up with a brother who's 3 years older than me. So shout out all the parents. Try to have your kids close together if you can. Because for real, it just creates like a certain camaraderie.
It creates a great bond.
Like when I saw y'all pull up, I saw like the smile, me, like y'all look like y'all really been doing life together literally all y'all life, and the bond is still as strong as it seemed like it's been probably since y'all was little.
Oh yeah, my parents do not play when it comes to us like being frustrated, arguing with each other. They're very much so. My dad even said, "I gave you a best friend." I'm not quite sure how to still feel about that.
Really? So
yes.
Why would he say that?
Well, he said that a lot of times because if there was ever a moment where Meah and I were at odds with one another, or if we just weren't speaking, he would always tell us, whatever you're dealing with, you got to fix it. Because that is the best friend that you can count on. Like all these other people, you might not be able to trust their intentions, their motives, or their heart behind making decisions with you, but you can definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, because I made this best friend for you, you got to make sure that you got to make right with your sister.
That's so good. And, and it's biblical too. I mean, there's so many, I can probably like go off on a tangent on how powerful that statement that you just said. You have a best friend, you have someone you can count on, because it's so easy to, she's going to be your sister for life.
Yeah. Right.
There's nothing that can change that.
Right.
And I think that's powerful. So thinking about that, talk about how it was getting to the point of launching M&M Live Radio. Because it seems like a great rosy story, but I'm sure there's some stuff where there was some little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some tension, you know what I mean? So talk about how that came together.
So M&M Live Radio started, I was a senior in high school. We went to the Cap School of the Arts in Avondale, and Meah was I think you were a sophomore. You were a
great
sophomore.
school, by the way. So,
yeah, awesome.
My niece goes there.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So we went to DSA, and it was just regular, school day. Afterwards, my mom picked us all up, and we were listening to a traditional gospel station on the radio. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, at that moment, I was like, I just want to, plug in my iPod. At the time, everybody had iPods. Right. And I just want to plug in my iPod and like turn up to all the music that I'm used to listening to, at the parties, at the kickbacks, at the, homecoming parties and stuff. However, I knew as a Christian teenager, I knew that the lyrics that were in the songs that was in my iPod probably was not something I should be listening to, or even putting in the aux cord with my mom in the car. So I was listening to the traditional gospel song, and even though that's probably lyrics that I should be listening to, I got kind of turned off. Okay. I was like, I'm kind of bored.
It was kind of
no
mid.
Offense. Yeah, it was super mid. Like seriously.
No offense to the gospel crowd. But sometimes the mid needs to be said.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then, so Meah and I had a conversation about that traditional gospel song that was playing on the radio, and I was like, I think it'll be so dope if there was like, I don't know, like a teen and young adult radio show that was geared towards our generation, that gave us the beat that the Chris Browns, the Rihannas, like all the artists on my iPod. However, it gave us the motivational and encouraging lyrics that the traditional gospel song was kind of giving us.
Sure.
And she was like, yeah, I think that'd be kind of dope. And you know, we kind of tossed the idea around, and it wasn't until I was like, why don't that be us? Like, why don't we be the change that we want to see?
I love that.
And, you know, we were like, well, I don't know where to start. But the first thing I just know without a shadow of a doubt was my mom was like, write the vision, make it plain. We had a little tablet. We wrote down, if we had the radio show, what was the name of the radio show?
Shout out, Mom.
When I tell you, like, she had no idea, but she was like, I just write the idea down.
So at the time, was the plan for both of you guys to like start the show? Like, or was it like, yo, this is my, like, whose initial, I ain't trying to like say there was a credit to be given, but whose initial idea was it?
So it was literally us at the same time. Like when I tell you, like Meah and I, we bounce ideas off of each other all the time.
I would say that
kind of move like that.
Yeah, I would say if it was, I was like, yeah, like we should do that. And then Meesa was like, yeah, we should do that. So it's kind of like, I think it was kind of like a half and half. Like I had the idea popped in, but like the execution, Meesa was like, yeah, let's do it. And usually it's like we're always together, so why not do it together?
Yeah. So that's when we wrote everything down. We wrote, like, if we had giveaways, we were giving away cars, we were giving away cruise trip tickets, we were like giving away different things of that nature. We had the name of the segments that we wanted on the show, listed the names of the artists we wanted to have on the show. We had everything written on down to the T. And then I want to say maybe a month or so, or some weeks later, we were at our church, regular Sunday, and in the lobby of our church, somebody that went to the church walked up to my mom and was like, hey, I don't know why I'm giving you this. So it had to have been a God moment. I'm not quite sure why I'm giving you this, but I know somebody that has a radio station that they manage, and they're looking for people to put on the airwaves. Do you know anybody that's looking for a radio airtime? Gave my mom the card. She's sitting in service like, why am I like, what is this? And it wasn't until at that moment, I think God dropped in her system, your kids are trying to start something big and be on the radio and create a teen and young adult radio show. Like, why don't you let this be an opportunity? So at that point, we had a conversation after service. She was like, let's set up an interview, or let's set up a meeting at least with them. Ace, we had no experience. I'm 18, Meah is 16. We brought the idea, all the vision that we wrote down on that piece of paper to that manager, and he was like, this is going to be your opportunity. I want for you to start this day. You're going to record every single week. I'm so excited for this opportunity. Let's do
That's
it.
Fire.
So it had to have been something that God definitely wanted to have aligned in our path.
It was just like I mean, it's almost surreal hearing that story, Meesa, because it's just like the timing of when you guys were in the car to when it actually came out. And talk about specifically you, Meesa. Like, I mean, Meah has always, sung your praises about how she kind of leaned on you to kind of be the lead in that program and in that. What was it in you? Like, what was in you that led you to kind of like be the leader in that space? Like, was it you just naturally like the older sister? Like, what is it about you that would kind of qualify you to kind of roam at that idea, to lead that vision out? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you guys work as a team, but you specifically, you had a unique place in this program.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Ace. I think honestly, the church that we went to at the time, we grew up going to World Changers Church International in College Park, and we had a bomb youth ministry, especially growing up at that time. But at that time, it was called Big Student Ministries, and we had some amazing youth leaders that poured so much into the kids, into the students. And there was, and she's still there, shout out to Alyssa Worrell, Pastor Alyssa Worrell. She was the middle school youth pastor at the time. And we were putting on youth conferences left and right. When I tell you, students were coming from Africa, like flying in to America to attend our youth conference. It was just insane. But I want to give her flowers, Sister Alyssa, her flowers, because she was just so big when it came to like personality, and she knew how to host and work a crowd. Like when she would hit the stage, hit the mic, everybody would just like not necessarily fell in love with her, but it was like just the God on the inside of her,
for sure,
attracting people to, and it was amazing to witness. And at a young age, even before M&M Live Radio was a thing, she saw something in me and was like, hey, Meesa, I want to bring your parents in. I want to like just share with them what I see in you,
so dope,
so that you can be grown, so that you can be groomed to work a crowd and to host the way that you do, the way that I can see you hosting. So she taught me the importance of like being real big, being real open, welcoming people when they come anywhere, and just simply using my voice to glorify God. And I learned that at a very young age. And she poured so much she poured so much of that into me and cultivated me to the point where I was like, I kind of feel like I have a little bit of experience of how to host and how to speak and how to bring people to Christ through my voice. And Meah at that time, she was young, she was very much so in her shell, very introverted. And so I knew that this was going to be something that was outside of her comfort zone. But I was like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. You know what I'm saying? So it was at that moment, somebody seeing something in me seeing something in M&M Live Radio, and then at that point, I had to leave because I did have the experience. And then that's when Meah started popping off and going crazy like she is right now, And
honestly, I'm happy you made that segue, Meesa, because when we come back, we got to dive way more into young Meesa, into the moments that molded Meesa into who she is today. So don't go anywhere. It's Meesa Jones is here with Ace Harris and myself here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. This is the 116 Live on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. I'm your host, Ace Harris, here with Meah Evans and her amazing sister, Meesa Jones.
In the building.
What's up?
You're very much used to this microphone. You be killing it. You're obviously, you know what? You said something earlier that I want to like call out some. You said God gave you a voice to lead people to him. And you know what? We, especially in the hip hop world, we be taking these mics for granted, I feel like at time. And also sometimes we be hogging this mic. Like essentially you're an MC. Like you essentially use your voice to host, welcome, and lead people to something greater.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if you got bars. I don't know if you can rap. I'm sure you probably rapped in your time at some point.
What's going on here?
Everybody who's like a fan of Christian hip hop has a verse somewhere. I feel like that's just my honest thoughts.
Ace, this is insane.
So are you denying it?
I'm denying it.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, is this true?
It's true.
Okay. Okay.
I tell you if she could.
If I could.
Oh, you would.
I would.
But
Okay.
people have said to me in the past, like, do you rap? Like, you just have like a voice, like you
just
got
assume.
bars. Yeah.
'Cause I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
Are you serious?
Everybody on like, it's not even a Christian hip hop thing. This is like a music industry thing. A lot of people in the music industry who even work behind the scenes, even on this office side, people got recordings for real.
Are you serious?
I can name drop a few, but I ain't trying to get in trouble. So I'm just gonna keep it right there.
No, but the funny thing is I mean, we've gotten so many times, Meah, you can attest to this. Are y'all a singing group?
Oh my
I can see that. I can see that.
And I'm like, a singing group? And it's funny because like a lot of times, like when we would like get dressed and go to different events and whatnot, we would try to like coordinate our outfits a little bit. I mean, we were hosting on stage, and I'm wondering if that was the reason why, because singing groups tend to kind of coordinate and. I've never gotten. Do you rap?
I mean, you're an orator. You have like the way you profess and use your voice. But speaking of which, I want to hear like obviously we've heard your story, Meah, growing up. We actually joked offline about some of the family. I think something went viral that you said about your family waking up on Saturday mornings, which is a whole nother tangent we can go on. But what was it like? I want to hear from you, Meesa.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in your household? Like, what was the spiritual temperature, the family dynamics? Like, what was it like according to you?
Yes. So with our family dynamic, we're very, very, very tight. Our family can get very competitive when it comes to like any type of game, any type of board game, any family outing. If it's kickball, it's on site.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be crazy. But our family is very committed when it comes to like serving at our church.
Right.
My dad growing up, he used to be in the choir. My mom, she teaches financial literacy. Of course, like I mentioned, we were in a very great, very, very healthy youth group, and Meah and I served at high capacities. So even though we're not at those churches and we have branched off into different ministries, we still do that. We still say that serving is a very important part of our lives. If anything, with our family, I was joking with Ace off camera, but we're hard workers. We like to do a lot of hard work together as a family. We have a couple businesses as a family. So we keep a lot of different things in the family dynamic.
That's so good.
And my father, he's a landscaper. And when I tell you, if he needed help out in the yard, Them girls put them boots on, we put them gloves on, and we were out there in the yard. And it was so crazy to the point where he used to have like 5 riding lawnmowers at one time.
That's a lot.
And we were on 17 acres of land. And it was kind of like Mario Kart. Every person was on like a lawnmower. We would race each other and make sure the yard was cut. But we did those things because we celebrate family.
Yeah.
And family is just so important, not only just to our immediate family, but also like the grandparents are equally involved. We have cousins that come.
The grandparents with y'all? They live near you?
So they live very closely. They
good.
live very, very closely. But when it comes to like family, we do not take arguments into the next day. We got to make sure that we take care of the issue right then and there because it's important to us.
That's so good. I mean, obviously the family dynamic seems to be really, I mean, the people who are watching who probably didn't have that growing up are probably hearing you tell the story and being like, man, I wish I had a family like that. And I'm sure you guys don't take it for granted. I can just see it the way you guys interact with each other. Obviously, you know, you guys grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. I'm sure there's plenty of viewers who have like people with label as church kids. Like I'm a church kid. My dad's a pastor. I've been in church all my life. Saturdays, Sundays.
PK.
Yeah, I'm a PK. So it's like, and you guys were active in y'all's church, and everybody comes to faith their own way. How was your like relationship with the Lord in light of you being a church kid? Was it like it's laid out, I walk right into it? Or was there like any like moments of like, I don't know if I'm believing this, rejecting this? How was it you coming to faith being like someone who was so exposed and so culturally Christian? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like for me, because I had always gone to church and my parents made church important and a priority, we had always been in church as long as I could ever remember. I remember when we used to live in Arkansas, we would fly into Atlanta once a month to go to church because my mom was watching, Pastor Creflo Dollar at that time in Arkansas when we were living. And she just fell in love so much with his ministry that she said, I have to be here. I have to be in Atlanta. So we went to the children's ministry. Meah got saved about 4 times.
Meesa, this is not about me.
It's not about you, but I want to explain.
What I heard was she backslid 4 times.
She about 4 times.
I wanted to make sure I was gonna get in.
It was under the age of 10.
Hey,
so
man.
back then, especially in kids ministry, I'm not quite sure how things happen now in kids ministry or children's ministry, but every time a child gave their life to Christ and said like the Christ follower prayer and received salvation, they would receive a certificate with their name, the date. I accepted Christ for the first time. Meah got 4 of them. So if there's anybody who's going to be in the Lamb's Book of Life when the Lord calls us home, it's going to be Meah Evans.
Shout out the certificate technology.
Shout out to the proof, because I don't know where mine is.
I'm like, yo, if you didn't know, we're going to write it down to show people that they got in, which is a whole nother, I can go on a tangent on that. It's like, if God knows you in, you don't got to fit it on a piece of paper. But
right, you know what I'm saying? But
I got to show y'all.
I say all that to say we have been in ministry for a long time. Okay. And my mom, like I said, she made it very, very important that if we're going to church, me and your dad are going to big church, and y'all are going to receive the word on your level, because I feel like that's also important
That's
too.
very important.
Super important.
So, because sometimes like church culture gets such a stigmatism. You got certain people on major platforms saying certain things, which I think they mean well, where they're just kind of like downplaying the church or criticizing the church. But it seems like the church that people often, especially millennial culture, are criticizing helps shape your faith. Like, would you feel like you being a church kid, I mean, it seems like you're counting it as a benefit, right? I mean, am I assuming? Is that right to say?
No, I feel like, and are you saying that the church culture that has shifted?
Well, specifically, people that I'm around at times, they look at church as something that this church didn't do this right. These youth groups weren't that good, yada, yada, yada. Okay. But you're someone who's like, I grew up in church. I was in church all the time. I love the Lord. Everything was good. That's not my experience. Like, do you feel like your faith was genuinely something that was shaped because you were in church? Did you come to the Lord in a way, in like a personal way? Or was it kind of like cliche because you were always around church? Like, talk about you coming to faith, Meesa Jones, knowing though, not just being in church, but how did that experience kind of shape out for you?
I feel like with me, I genuinely came to Christ because my mom and my dad did encourage for us to go to church.
Right.
I don't feel like they forced us to go to church.
Right.
And I felt like that's what made it genuine for me. Even though I was a child, I was able to make my own friends. And my own friends, they're still my friends to this day.
That's
Had
so
I
good.
not gone to church
Right.
or even like attended children's church at that time, I wouldn't have these friends that I have to this day. You know what I'm saying?
So you looked forward to going to church.
I look forward to going to church.
That's such a key takeaway that I think people who like have a bad experience with church can't always honestly say that for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think also the community was just so important at that time. Like I mentioned earlier, I gave my flowers to our youth leader at the time, Alyssa Worrell. She helped be a part of my village, and she helped shape my future. That's why I am in the field that I am right now, because of her.
Gotcha.
And they made it so attractive to be in the faith. Our youth pastor, he did a great job of also like breaking down to us different things of showing the world's view of life, and the word's view of life, and how we can contribute to God's kingdom and not so much to the world's life.
So let me ask you this. So some people are watching Meesa and they're just like, everything just looks so rosy. Like, man, you've had was there any moment where you were like, I'm not sure about this life or this church culture, or were you pretty much like, I like this, I'm bought in? I just want to see, was there any moments of doubt, right, in being involved in church or following the Lord? Because again, we have people that come to Christ and come to faith, especially in our circles, from different. Some folks just like, yo, they needed Jesus because they ain't gonna lie, they was headed to
the hot place.
Oh my goodness, like But for people who are culturally Christian in church community, sometimes the story is just a little different. So I just want to hear, like, was there any doubt, or was it like because you seem to just be so like comfortably bright and so sure of your faith, which is encouraging for me.
Yeah, there was some moments, and it's like the enemy knows how to get at you at the real small, slight moments. Like if there's ever holes in the picture, he knows how to get in and really get to you deep. Right. There were like a few moments that I could name. Like there's been moments where even witnessing my parents' marriage at that time, like they've overcome so much. This year they'll be celebrating 30 years of marriage, and it's such a blessing because I, being the oldest, have been able to witness the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs, the hell, the high water of their marriage. Right. And at one point it was bad. Yeah. It was just bad. Yeah. And I have always been a person that was like, oh, I can't wait to get married. Like I'm the firstborn daughter. My father walking me down the aisle to my husband. Like I want to be a wife. I want to be a mom. I want to be this. I want to be that. And I want to have a family of my own. But there were moments where I was like, is this what I have to look forward to?
I have a question, and honestly, I want to be honest, saying that I like sitting back, be able to hear you because like I know Meesa the best, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like being able to hear things, but genuinely asking because we've talked and you've said with you being the older sibling, and with you leading. Meesa, you used to lead so much in team ministry and president of student council, secretary, like you always had this leader position. How was it maintaining that at a young age? You know what I'm saying? From school, and then now to at home, you're the sibling, you're the oldest sibling, and then in church, like was there a pressure? Like did that weight ever overwhelm you in any sense?
Good.
Every day. Every day, Meah.
Awesome.
But I
it's funny because Meesa always just talks of how she, with being the older sibling, she feels like the guinea pig, and like she's always talking about how like I've always heard the weights of that, but I'm realizing now like wow, you played a leadership role and at a young age for so many different areas, and I'm just curious to what that was like for you.
That is such a good question. How did I do it? You know, I think I had a lot of great role models. There was always a teacher I could look up to. Right. There was always like my parents. There was always other friends that I could kind of like sharpen myself up against, you know, or I mean, even you, Meah, I mean, you might have been younger than me, but between the both of us, you're the most mature. Like I am super immature. Super, like Meah will be like, grow up. Seriously, Meesa, grow up. But the thing is I've always had people that were there to either push me or encourage me. my parents being one of them. They have definitely put pressure on me to make sure that I was doing what I needed to always be doing.
Yeah.
Look after my siblings. If I had to make them something to eat, I was always the one that was able to do it because I was responsible. I was very responsible. But I think having those teachers that were also able to be like, hey, Meesa, I see this in you. And I think that's important. It's always important to have someone that you can pour into. My pastor says that the most important letters is I see in you. Find something that you can find someone you can mentor. Find somebody that you can bring up with you.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Or disciple even. And I always had great role models that were around me to encourage me and tell me what I should be doing at that time.
That's so good.
So that was what I was able to kind of keep it together and lead in different areas.
No, it's dope. I mean, you give like a lot of like leadership and big sister energy. It was really like I think like humanized to hear some of your struggles and some of that dynamic, because it's like sometimes the older sibling, the leader of people, I always be like curious, like
yes,
what's the ding in the armor? I mean, because I think
that's what makes you
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
but like even so talking about like my parents and seeing their ups and downs of their marriage. I think there was even a time where Meah and we have this best friend, or the group of friends that I was telling you about that we grew up going to the same church. She tragically died in a car accident. That about broke me, Ace. And it's kind of like I sat back and asked myself, like, God, this is your child. Why was she not protected? You know what I'm saying? Like, she wasn't doing anything bad. There are bad people out here that are getting away scot-free doing nonsense,
for sure.
And then there was even moments where I knew that even when we started M&M Live Radio, I'm like, I know that I'm doing this for a higher cause. I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for the kingdom. People need this stuff. People need 116. Like they need this music. And you would see people that are just doing things in the worldly realm,
for sure, and
they will be elevated way quicker than you, or other people that's like getting the flowers and getting the accolades or getting the acknowledgments. And I'm like, I've been in the trenches all these years, working hard, keeping my nose down, like really trying to stay focused.
Keeping your nose clean too.
Keeping your nose clean, keeping your nose down, doing what you need.
I feel you. And you like
you're overlooked and underappreciated. And it's moments like that where I'm like, maybe M&M Live Radio went for us. Like maybe we should kind of do something on a different scale. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just not in it for us, I'm
so grateful that you maybe had those moments to ponder, but you guys didn't never give up, because seeing from where I sit, and especially I want to get into this more, what's going on now, but I want to close and just say this segment and just say, seeing two black women that's following the Lord, that's dope, that's cool, and confidently being those moments of or individuals of reference points for other women that need to see you guys shine in that way. So the accolades are being given to y'all, and sometimes in ways where you can't see them, because there's so many people that you guys touch, and it's encouraging to know that you went through that, but still standing, still here. You know what I'm saying? So definitely want to dive into what's going on in current Meesa Jones' life, but as we get back in the next segment, we'll take a break right here. This is the 116 Life, Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 140. Be right back, y'all.
And we're back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, we have Meesa Jones in the building, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
media
ma'am.
personality, broadcaster, leader, wife, mom, all the things. Meesa, you've been doing M&M Live Radio it'll be 11 years. Whoa.
Yes.
Be 11 years this year. How has M&M Live Radio molded you? Whether it's in professionally, personally, creatively, how is the journey of the past 11 years molded you as an individual?
I think it's taught me discipline. I think it's taught me discipline, because I thought, I definitely thought growing up when we started M&M Live Radio that, we're just gonna be the talent. That's it.
Yeah.
Like we just hop on the mic. We do what we do. We have the segments, we have the fun, we have the banter, we have the great conversation, and then that's it. And that's not how life works. I thought that we were gonna have agents and we were gonna have people post for us.
Talk about it, brother.
And I thought that everything was gonna be cookie cutter. Everything was gonna be just, that's it. We did the show and then everyone's gonna just love it. And that's just not how it works. Like I had to learn the importance of discipline and planning and being consistent and posting and making sure that I'm able to rise to the occasion and do what I said I'm going to do. Working with you as my sister, as my co-host, I've had to also learn how to trust you and your creative ability and trust my team. There's been so many moments where M&M Live Radio has taught me that you can't do it by yourself. And being a part of other teams outside of M&M Live Radio, it's taught me that if you trust in this person, if you want for whatever goal you're trying to accomplish to be accomplished, you're not a one-man band.
Yeah.
You can't do this by yourself.
For sure.
You've got to make sure that you're leaning on your partner and trusting in them and trusting in their ability so that y'all can get further faster.
What are the keys to building a platform that lasts 11 years? Like M&M Live Radio, like what's the keys to building something like that lasts? Because we've seen people, shows come in and out, and it's so unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Especially even in the CHH space, but being able to have something that lasts, what are the keys to keeping that?
I think the biggest key on a chain is to know your why. Why are you doing this? And if you can't answer your why, then maybe you have to redefine what that is.
For sure.
Because M&M Live Radio is created so that we can give our generation an alternative source of positive entertainment and music. And we know that there are a million radio shows out there, Ace. There's so many other radio shows that probably are better than us, that have a greater special guests, they have actual better giveaways, they have different things that they offer, but some of them don't last. And I think the reason why we're still standing is because we've been able to sit back and say, okay, well, we know that there are so many artists out there, so many entertainers out there that are doing it for Christ, that are doing it because they need more exposure. Why don't we be the platform that's able to elevate them, support them in a way in which other people can give their life to Christ? I love the space of CHH and this field and this industry so much, because we're not supporting anybody that's fake, anybody that's whack, like the Lecrae's, the Andy Mineos, the No Big Deals, the Wandays, the Portia Loves, the Queen Lees, like all of the artists that we feature, their hearts are pure. Right. Their hearts are genuine. Their minds are focused on something higher. The Miles Minnicks, they're saving people at an alarming rate at their concerts, jumping up and down, and they look like They look like everybody. You know what I'm saying? They don't look like they're so set apart. I mean, they do in their actions and their habits and their lifestyle. They're set apart. Sure. You know what I'm saying? But they look like everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like they got their snapbacks on. They got their J's on. You know what I'm saying? And we have so many young people that are going to these concerts, so many people that are downloading their music, that are coming to Christ through Spotify, through platforms, through their headphones. And I think that's something that's the reason why we do what we do. Yeah, and we've even been knowing about the CHH space for only as long as we've been doing M&M Live Radio. So over the past 11 years, what growth have you seen in the CHH scene that you like? What's been the progress that you've seen that's been made that you love seeing, whether it's in the artist or just talk a little bit about the growth over the past 11 years that you've seen from afar. Holy girls up.
Come on, man.
Holy girls are up by 1,000. But not only that, but holy boys, they out here too.
Holy hot boys out here.
Holy hot boys are out here. But when I tell you when we first started, I don't think there were a lot of, there wasn't a lot of representation, you know what I'm saying? Like with women, especially women of color, there wasn't a lot. I mean, shout out to AI The Anomaly, like she was out here, Butta P was out here, like hustling. Heesun Lee, if y'all remember Heesun Lee, she was out here in these streets. Erica Combo.
Jackie was out here.
Out here. Like, I mean, we had a lot of women.
It was definitely, sorry to cut you off, but it was definitely light. I mean, you just seem so overjoyed to say that.
I am.
Talk about why that's so important. I mean, by the way, y'all, we're going to keep asking this question because we're going to keep highlighting women because I think it needs to be said. But go ahead.
So I think it's important because women need to be heard. There's been so many times where in the past, like even not just in ministry or Christian hip hop, women were just seen and not heard. Like they were just there kind of like as a prop. They were just there as a supporting character. They never had the opportunity to step into the limelight and speak up because they got something to say.
I'm curious with that, as women leading that charge and talking about the Holy Girls, for you as an interviewer, as a leader in the media space, how has that been for you to kind of carry your who God's made you as a Black woman, and kind of fight that uphill, sometimes discrimination? How has that been?
It's been tough.
Is there a moment that, without getting too specifically, but that you can recall that you had to overcome being a woman in the media space that made it difficult for M&M Live Radio to kind of push through and still stand on the relevant nature that you guys do have, you know?
Yeah. So there have been moments where, like, especially when we first started off, and we were trying to like network, go out to the events and go out to the concerts, support our friends that are artists, and we would constantly see like the same. And this is no shade, no hate to the fellas out there, because I mean, like, we're friends with a lot of them, but we would see like the same guys on the stage and just, jumping around, having a good time with the other fellas, the other guys that are on the roster, and there would be no women. And so it would be kind of hard to be like, okay, well, I mean, there's so many ladies out here that I feel like can deliver, can be on the stage. And it wasn't a place of pride. Like, I want for you to see me. I want for you to see what I could bring to the table or bring to the mic. It wasn't that at all. It was just, I feel like there's a change. There needs to be a change
for sure
to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all are leading the change. I mean, like 11 years.
That's a long time.
Women-led platform, interviewing Christian hip hop. I mean, you guys are essentially, I don't mean this with cap, you guys are pioneers.
Wow, Ace.
For real, like pioneers in this, like who else? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
And I think that needs to be said, and you guys need to be giving y'all's flowers. Meesa, talk about a little bit, what are you excited for currently? Where is your headspace? Even maybe M&M Live Radio, but even more specifically, you as a person, as a mother, leader, things you're putting your hands to. What are you excited about currently that's got you like using your gift still and like adding value to the culture?
Yes. So one thing that I am working on that I am very excited about, Ace, is I'm starting to not necessarily branch off of M&M Live Radio, but I'm starting to learn more about what my voice can produce and what it can do. So one thing that I've been tapping into is voiceover artistry. And so right now I'm getting my feet wet. I'm getting my feet wet by auditioning for being a voice to narrate books. Wow. And I want to graduate up into doing live voice announcing for like award shows. I want to start doing voice animation for different TV shows and movies and different things. I always thought that was just so cool to manipulate your voice and just have fun creatively that way.
That's so good.
And so I am excited about that. I set up my own home studio. So I'm taking the baby steps and the next best steps, if you will, to get closer to like my goal doing those things. Personally, being a mom, being a wife, ownership.
Say more.
So right now we have purchased our first home, which is super, super exciting.
Can I ask when did you purchase?
So we purchased, I got it down to the date.
It's like recent?
Yeah, December 22nd of last year.
Yo,
so we've only been in for a few months, right before Christmas. I would not recommend doing that because it's very, very stressful to move in around Christmas. But
give yourselves like a round of applause. Like buying a new home in this market.
In this market is
crazy.
It's
y'all did
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
Shout out God.
Shout out God, because it's been like maybe 4 years in the making.
Whoa.
Because there was a time where my husband and I, we fell on hard times. We had to move back in the house with my parents. We bought back 2 babies from the hospital, and that's not gangster. Like, I can't bring 2 babies back to my mama house. What am I doing? But we had to do it. The pandemic took place. So I mean, honestly, God had his hand on it from the beginning. But there would be moments where we would try to stay focused, to save money, and it's either we had great credit and no money, or we had the money and we didn't have good credit, and it was such a teeter-totter, but we had to buckle down. We had to get our money right, learn how to budget, go through financial peace, and I'm so grateful to say we are debt-free right now. It's only because of God. It's only because of God. There's nothing in the world right now that I can say is a huge God flex than to say that you're debt-free. I don't want no car. I don't want no Lamborghini. I don't need the latest shoes. Yo, I'm debt free. I'm almost 30. And that is such a big thing and huge thing that I want to encourage everybody to do. Be financial literate.
That's so good. I mean, shout out just the journey. I mean, even you sharing what you and your husband had to go through to get here. Yeah. Buying a home is no punk, especially in the metro Atlanta area.
Absolutely.
Interest rates. I mean, it's just it is almost. We could talk for hours about that.
A lot goes into it.
Sure,
a lot goes into it. And I feel like that has by far been the most adult thing that I've done thus. Having kids, yes.
Yeah.
Having kids.
Forgot about that part.
Right. Getting married, absolutely, yes. Right. But like by far, like, and especially because like being married, you have to marry your finances and work together with somebody else. Yeah. Like that's just something that I feel like I had to really focus.
I feel like we need to do like this is Christian hip hop needs like an adulting life skills like conference,
that would be so fire.
Cause just like some basic
life skills
stuff that I feel like people not thinking about, especially in the creative community, which you're using your gifts and you're trying to tap into other things. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Sometimes the creative community is just like a little bit slower to understand those things and it is biblical and I think it's godly. So shout out you and your husband for owning that, going through that, and being on the other side of it, because it is not easy.
No, it's not.
Is there anything you want to leave our audience with as we kind of wrap it up, Meesa? Like anything that you want to just share that God's put on your heart about this season, your journey, or anything? The mic is yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think if anything, if you can, and this is in every aspect, every area of your life, do your absolute best. Give yourself some grace. And always try to find that 1%. That's one thing that I've been learning lately, is finding that 1%. I read this book called The Compound Effect, and I believe that the author is, his name is Darren Hardy. I believe that's his name. But I read that book, and that has radically changed my life. He talked so much about finding that 1%. If you're trying to get better, don't try to get better by 10%. Don't try to get better by 50%. Try to find that one thing, one small thing even, that you can do consistently every single day. It's going to create so substantial amount of just difference in results. I think he had an illustration in his book where he talked about if you're in a plane and you're only supposed to drive completely straight, fly completely straight in that plane from, let's say, New York to Georgia, straight down. If you turn the nose of that plane by 1%, you will make your way all the way in like Texas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you can find that small thing, I don't care if it's going to the gym every day for 15 minutes. I don't care if it's rolling out of your bed at 7 o'clock and doing 25 push-ups every single day. If you're consistent, that consistent thing is key. But if you do one thing every single day consistently, it will make such a compounding interest of change in your life. So if I could leave y'all with anything, find that thing. Find that one thing. Even if it's complimenting somebody every single day, you're going to find gratitude in that. If it's calling your mom, you're going to find yourself, maybe forgiving her more for the things that you felt like you couldn't forgive her for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just finding that one little percent that you could do every single day to change your life.
I mean, clearly you've been doing that.
That's my sister, y'all.
the proud little sis. Nah.
Meesa, thank you for being here. You have lived, well, of course, with me seeing it, but I'm happy that people were able to hear the life that you live, because you've overcome so many different things, and the life that you live just speaks so many volumes to so many different people. Thank you for being here. Is there anything you want to plug? Social media, the show, anything that you want to plug? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Man, I gotta do better posting on social media. It's dry right now, But yeah, so my social media on Instagram is Meesa Jones. That's MEESA JONES. That's me also on Facebook. And if I can, M&M Live Radio, that's M&M Live Radio on Instagram.
Listen, man, shout out to Meesa Jones being in the building here on the 116 Live. That's a wrap, y'all, for another good episode here of the 116 Live. Listen, Ace, Meesa, myself, we are signing off here. We'll see you guys next week here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We'll see you guys soon.